Now to our ongoing story. The two suspects in the Boston Marathon bombings are reportedly from Russia's North Caucasus. A massive police operation saw one of the men shot dead, while the other is still at large and is described as armed and dangerous. The manhunt started after the shooting death of a college police officer and a carjacking overnight. Now live to our correspondent Guyana Chichikan in Washington for the latest. Guyana, what more do we know about the identities of the two suspects?
Well, Tabang, we have reports from Associated Press that the name of the suspect now at large is Dzhokhar Tsorayev. What we know at the moment is that he's 19 years old. The media here are saying that he's of Chechen background. We don't know if he's a Russian citizen at this point. He apparently attended a school in Russia's Republic of Dagestan. We reached out to that school and they told us that the young man spent there around a year and that the family arrived there from Kyrgyzstan in 2001, and they didn't actually remember the young man very well. It's all very sketchy at this point. We're going to get more details in the coming hours, of course, and maybe some of the reports that we share now will prove wrong. The suspect who was killed earlier tonight is reported to be his 20-year-old brother, Tamerlan Tsorayev. They were apparently permanent residents of the U.S., and judging by the photos that are emerging, both brothers were into martial arts. We don't know if they were acting alone or they were whether they were trained abroad, whether they were part of a terrorist network or maybe a network that with connections with terrorist groups inside Russia. But we do know that the south of Russia has seen many attacks. At this point, we went actually. One of the suspects, the one who was killed, this Tamerlan Tsorayev, has a YouTube page, and among his videos, the videos that he collected there are those of religious content, and also there's a blog called Terrorists, but the videos in it they were deleted. So that's as far as what we know at this point, Tabak.
All right, Guyana, how is the manhunt progressing now that some of this new information has come out? We know that he's been on the run, the second suspect. How's the manhunt progressing?
Tabang, apparently the suspect at large hasn't gone that far. One of the two suspects, again, I'm going to go back to the Tamerlan, to this 20-year-old suspect who was shot in the Boston area earlier. It is believed to be the one in the black hat. We have seen the photos of these two men. One was wearing a white hat and the other one a black one. So the one who was killed was the one who was wearing the black hat. A massive manhunt is, of course, underway for suspect number 2. It is important to mention that federal authorities do not give any names. They just refer to them as suspect number 1, suspect number 2, and that's it. So these are all the reports that we're getting from news agencies, from their sources. As far as the manhunt, Boston is on lockdown now. Public transportation is shut down in Boston. No trains in and out of Boston. The subway, buses, all shut down. The police strongly advise people in the area where they shot and killed the first suspect, the Watertown area near Boston, to be very cautious, to stay indoors, lock their doors. They're now sweeping the neighborhoods, trying to find his suspected partner in crime and maybe his brother, the one in the white hat on the photos, surveillance cameras that we've seen. The police called the man a terrorist who is armed and dangerous.
Guyana, I just want to go back to the day of that Boston bombing. We know the marathon is well-renowned. A lot of well-known athletes take part in it. Tell us the progression from when that bomb went off, the subsequent bombs went off, and the investigation, how that progressed to them being at this point where we actually now have these two suspects, one who's already on the run still and one who's now shot dead by the police.
That's right, Tabang. The two bombs went off within seconds of each other Monday afternoon, right near the track where the marathon was taking place. And it's been a 5-day manhunt, and the remains of the bomb, this homemade bomb, were found, and it was placed inside a pressure cooker. So there was a pressure cooker bomb, but as we know, the pressure cooker bombs have been used in many terrorist attacks around the world. As far as, it was very symbolic. They kept playing the footage of the flags of the track where the bombs ripped through. And it was the way the flags, and there were 56 countries participating. And the third victim, the third person killed in these bombings was identified as a Chinese national. And when the bombs went off and they blown off the flags that were along that track, it was very symbolic of how international the plague of terrorism really is. So it was not just targeting American citizens. It was there were, again, more than 56 countries participating in that marathon.
Right, Gayane Chichiken there in Washington, just giving us an update and a roundup for what's been happening there in that manhunt, as well as the aftermath of that Boston bombing.